Zillow and Redfin are clashing on their housing outlooks. Mortgage rates are swinging, and overseas tensions are shaking investor confidence. What does this mean for our local real estate market here in Silicon Valley? And we're going to look at nationwide as well. So let's break it all down. Hello, Sam Spinella, your trusted real estate guy. Wanted to give you an update on the market. Can't believe it, we're already halfway through the year 2025. So wanted to give you a market update nationwide as well as focusing on Silicon Valley and global impact. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on, as you know, but if we look nationwide, nationally, we're seeing two narratives. Zillow recently reaffirmed its optimistic forecast predicting modest home price gains through the end of the year, thanks to tight inventory and resilient buyer demand. Redfin, on the other hand, is waving the caution flag, citing affordability concerns, increasing days on market, and a rise in the price reductions as signs of potential cooldown. So, which is it? It depends on where you are and what kind of home you're talking about. So if you look at the hot spots and the market momentum across the country, here's where we're seeing the most movement. The Northeast, especially parts of New Jersey, shout out to New Jersey, Boston suburbs, and upstate New York is heating up thanks to strong job centers and limited inventory. The Southeast, including Tampa, Charlotte, and parts of Georgia, remains a magnet for relocators looking for affordability, no state income tax, and lower cost of living. In contrast, many West Coast cities are seeing slower movement, especially in the mid-tier range. Because of the rate sensitivity and high-priced ceilings, the West Coast does get pretty painfully high. This divergence is why national headlines can feel misleading. Real estate is moving, but very differently depending on the region. In Silicon Valley, the market is moving in two different directions. Thinking about relocating to the Silicon Valley? My team and I have taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide. Just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope that helps. Hope you're having a wonderful day. If we break down Silicon Valley, luxury homes 2.5 and above are picking up speed. Many equity-rich homeowners are finally listing, unlocking wealth after years of holding back. We're seeing increased activity in Los Gatos, Montecito, parts of Saratoga, along with Palo Alto, Los Altos, and Sunnyvale is smoking hot right now. Mid-tier homes, the 1.4 to the 2.4, are facing headwinds. This is the rate lock group. Many sellers are holding off and buyers are stretching to afford homes with current mortgage rates. And if you look really at these two different tiers, one thing I think where we do get lost is to note, like Sunnyvale, for example. Sunnyvale used to be one of the lower tier class, a beautiful place to live, but the prices hadn't caught up yet. Now, Sunnyvale is a more desirable, it's also much more expensive than it used to be. So the average cost in Sunnyvale right now is 2.7 to 3. So it actually does go more into the luxury home side of things and not so much on the mid-tier as you might think when I mentioned Sunnyvale being smoking hot. Sunnyvale is just off the charts, and it will do that up and down, and now it just seems like it's continuing to stay there. What I do see though in Sunnyvale specifically, and other parts of Silicon Valley, is when you have the home sellers that want to sell and move on, and when homes are sitting on the market, like in Sunnyvale, for example, or surrounding areas, those are the sellers who are really trying to push to the next realm before it's actually time. And this happens time and time again. So for the mid-tier, what's important too, the average days on the market has ticked up slightly, but well-priced, well-prepped homes are still moving quickly, especially if staged and marketed well. Now, this is a huge piece as well. You can't just put a house on the market and expect it to move. That's when the market's smoking hot. Right now, the market is not smoking hot everywhere, but even in those hotter areas, you need to make sure that it's staged properly, that it's marketed properly, and it's also priced properly, and you're a realistic seller in order to sell. Now, if we look global and the geopolitical impact, globally, several flashpoints are shaping the financial landscape. Tensions in the South China Sea are elevating concerns over global trade stability, especially with Taiwan and maritime routes. This rattles investor confidence and shifts more capital toward U.S. assets. Escalating conflict involving Iran, Israel, and the U.S. is driving oil prices higher and reviving inflation fears. This does not help inflation, and inflation is one of the things we've been battling for the last 3 years. And that's really what's nationwide put the housing into a recession, is really what we've been in with these high rates. I'm sorry, a housing recession, not an overall recession, but a housing recession is what we're actually looking at now. This may delay the Fed's next rate cut and keep mortgage rates higher longer. At the same time, these tensions are prompting a flight to safety. U.S. real estate, particularly in stable, high-demand areas like Silicon Valley, is attracting increased attention from global investors. On a positive note, we're seeing venture capital and tech investment activity quietly ramping up, hinting at renewed economic momentum in the second half of the year. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens in the second half of the year, because the first half of the year has been very sluggish. What this means for you. If you're a seller, this summer may be your sweet spot before any potential softening in the fall. If you're a buyer, there's opportunity in the mid-tier where competition is cooled slightly and sellers may be more negotiable. Remember, if you're a seller in that mid-tier, you have to make sure the property is being marketed correctly. You have to make sure that everything's being done properly for that home. And that mid-tier is also moving. Just because I'm saying that 2.4 or 2.3, the mid-tier, it depends on where you are in the Silicon Valley as well. And if you're an investor, keep an eye on properties in need of updating. We're seeing room to add value and equity in homes that need cosmetic, refreshers, or a better layout. If you want a tailored market snapshot for your neighborhood or price range, just message me directly anytime. I'm always here and happy to help. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great start to the summer as well.